This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining the Texas OnCourse monthly webinar series. We're here for the month of May and wrapping up the school year. This morning we're talking about our student modules. This information might be new to some of you, but we have college and career support and have created student modules with Texas College Bridge. So Texas OnCourse has partnered with the Texas Education Agency, TEA, and College Forward to offer college and career e-learning modules for students. Today, we're going to explore a little bit more about the College Bridge program and learn about what kind of information is in the learning modules that can be integrated into your current learning management system. So we're really excited. This is a great resource. People have been asking for student modules for a really long time. So we're happy to share these with you. And of course, this is sort of our statement with Texas OnCourse. All Texas students, no matter where they come from or where they're headed, have a plan for success after high school. That's what we keep in mind as we create resources in college and career advising at the coordinating board. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. There's the link right there. We have plenty of ways to subscribe and search content. We record our webinars and we send these out via email, and that link that you get in that email is directs you to our YouTube channel. So that's right there for you. And you can also see all sorts of other resources we have on YouTube. So just a couple of things on webinars. We're of course recording. We have lots of folks that register but maybe can't join us live. So we send the recording out to all registrants. You can also share these with your colleagues. We have a monthly webinar series that's coming to an end here in June, and we will look at creating our new topics for the 22-23 school year. Upcoming webinars and recordings are also posted on our webpage. If you go to the Educator tab and you go to our monthly webinar series, you can see that we've posted the recordings and also anything that we have upcoming on the webinar series that we have. So today's agenda is not going to be too long, but we just want to say welcome and thanks everyone for joining. And myself and Jamie Bell is here to cover some of the information on Texas College Bridge. So Jamie is our program coordinator in college and career advising at the coordinating board. She's going to spotlight the resources we have that we're covering today. We have 5 student modules, and there's some really great objectives, really valuable topics for your high school students. So we're going to talk about what's in the student modules, how you access those, and how you may use them as well. So there's a couple of different ways that we're working on making sure you have access for those student modules, and then we'll have some time for question and answer before we close out. I feel like I know most of you, but my name's Laura Guggen, and I'm Director of Program Implementation here at Texas OnCourse, and we're under College and Career Advising. And my team works directly with school districts and supporting implementation of Texas OnCourse, as well as other college and career advising initiatives that we have from our division.
And hi guys, I'm Jamie Bell. I'm the program coordinator. And I've been with Texas OnCourse for a while. And before that, I taught 7th grade science and wrote curriculum for the school district that I worked in. You'll have to bear with me today. Normally, Laura is our screen share extraordinaire, and I'm doing it with 2 laptops today, so I can also see my notes. So just bear with me a little bit if I...
Yes, we had a couple little technical issues, but everything's super smooth, Jamie, so no worries.
Okay, good. Okay. So first up, we're going to start with a quick poll question for you guys to answer. And Laura, are you able to? Okay.
Let me, so this is just really quickly, we would love to see who has downloaded the student course in your learning management system. So if you just give me 1 second, this poll should launch. and you can take your time. Hopefully you see the poll. We did not expect too many people here this morning to have downloaded the student course in Canvas. So far, we've got mostly no's, and that's totally fine. It's just really helpful for us to know who's accessed it and who has not.
Yes.
I'll give you a minute. Perfect. So most of our audience has not downloaded the student course where you can access the modules, which is perfectly fine. That's kind of what we assumed. So we'll just be able to give you all of the information you need to be able to access that in today's webinar.
Yes, so today we're going to be spotlighting these student modules, just a refresher from a previous webinar on college and career support. And during this presentation, we'd like to hear or see in the chat box your feedback about these modules. And hopefully we can troubleshoot and point you in the right direction to being able to download the common cartridge to your LMS. For those on this webinar new to this resource of Texas OnCourses, last year we partnered with TEA and College Forward to transition their online resources into student-facing modules. This course is divided into 5 learning modules, which you can see here. It's best suited for high school students anywhere within their college readiness journey. From a freshman to a senior, everyone will get something from this. These modules focus on the benefits of education after high school. They'll learn how to prepare for college with a college readiness checklist, what to expect their first semester after high school, the college application process, plus self-exploration to help guide the post-secondary decision-making process, and so much more.
I just want to add, Jamie, we also have Isaiah Garcia from the Texas OnCourse staff who's adding relevant links into the chat. So if you want to take a look at that chat, the relevant links that Jamie's covering, we're dropping those in as we go.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Isaiah. So college and career support from Texas Bridge. We'll be spotlighting, it's free for all Texas educators to upload in their common cartridge to their learning management system. To get this link to this landing page, you'll search college and career support from College Bridge through our website, or Isaiah's putting the link in the chat now for us. But once you're there, you'll click on that pink button to get further instructions for downloading the e-learning course. Today, we'll be spotlighting these modules as well as showing an alternate version for educators who don't have an LMS. This new version of the resource is web-based. It's more simplified, but has many of the functionalities as the Canvas version of this resource. And we would appreciate any feedback that you can give us in the chat. Here's the link for more instructions to download the common cartridge to your LMS. And we have the link in the chat. There's also a step-by-step guide for those of you who have Canvas. This is a simple walkthrough that should troubleshoot any issues and will help set you up for success for you to show this to your students. Okay. So the module that we'll preview today is Education After High School, What to Consider. In this module, your students will explore the benefits of education after high school and learn how to prepare for it. This module shows them how to meet the state of Texas college readiness standards and lets them know what happens if they don't meet those standards. There's also a handy college readiness checklist that will make preparing for education after high school easier. To further explore what students will learn in this module, we're going to look at the objectives for each of the modules. It's important to understand the why when of anything when you're explaining something to students. We start off this module by going into the benefits of furthering their education after high school, the why. Why is post-secondary important? Then they explore what it means to be college ready, how being ready impacts their post-secondary experiences, and then how they can demonstrate that they are ready for college. The next module is career exploration. Your students will explore resources that help them learn about themselves in this module. Knowing more about oneself can help them identify career options that fit them, and they'll also build out a list of career options that match their desired lifestyle or what they think their desired lifestyle preferences are. In this module, students will spend a majority of their time in self-discovery, understanding that knowing themselves and what they want out of life is key to making decisions about the future. Students will explore how careers can align with their own preferences and the benefits that that can bring them. The next module is all about college choice and college applications. As your students' high school experience comes to an end, they have a few major decisions ahead of them. We'll help them figure out what type of education and training they need after high school. They'll learn how to research and choose schools that match their needs and interests. We'll also walk them through the college application process, including application essays, standardized testing, fee waivers, and more. So there's quite a few objectives for this module, so I've broken it into a couple of screens. The first set dive into how to choose a college, building out pros and cons to find the best fit education option for them. As well as continuing on with the college application process, understanding all the information someone needs to know to successfully navigate this process, and your students will feel more confident after going through this module because college applications can be a little overwhelming. Our fourth module is about paying for college. It's much easier when your students know what financial aid is, how to qualify for it, and how to compare aid packages. We'll help them understand how to get the best deal for their needs. This module focuses a lot on financial aid terminology. A lot of times students can get lost in the jargon of financial aid. What are the types of aids and what is needed to find ways to pay for college? This is an important module, especially now that completing FAFSA and TASFA is a TASFA is a graduation requirement. Once students apply for financial aid, this module then goes into explaining how to accept their aid and understand how to read their aid, their letters. The final module that we're going to talk about is setting yourself up for college success. Students will learn that deciding to attend college is only the first decision in a series of decisions that they'll make. Once they selected a college and been accepted, they need their next step. And I'm saying college, but once they've decided on a post-secondary option and they've accepted and they found ways to finance it, their next step is to get ready, the exciting part, the one that all the kids love and think about. In this module, they'll explore what they should expect during their first semester. We also cover housing options that are available, what classes to take, and how they can prepare for success. This module dives into really exciting topics like housing, student orientation, and what to expect those first few weeks. Students will get an idea of what college life will be like and how to steer through their first months in post-secondary education successfully. This module ends with important resources to troubleshoot common pitfalls when students start out in college. Things like managing stress and time, and resources of where they can get help. This is a good one to download, send out to parents, have available in hard copies. There's a lot of really good resources in this module for your students. So we have another question that if you could please answer it in the chat box. We want to know, what LMS do you use in your district? So I'll give you a minute to put that in the chat box for us. And Laura, I don't know if I can see it. Could you read out some of them for me?
Yeah, we were just curious because we know that if you are using Canvas, so Canvas is the platform that the student modules are built in. So it should work seamlessly if you have Canvas, but we know there are some other things like Schoology or Schoology. I see lots of Canvas and Schoology and a couple of others. So that is wonderful to hear. And so we're usually aware of what the different LMS systems, but we just wanted to check and see from this webinar. And some folks don't have any. We do know that. And some folks use Google Classroom, which previously we know some of the districts were not able to download these student learning modules into Google Classroom. But Jamie's going to talk a little bit about a workaround for that. So if you have Canvas, hopefully the links that we've shared, same with Schoology, you should be able to provide students at your school access to the student modules by following the Common Cartridge instructions. So I do want to mention too, we have some folks on here that have maybe accessed this. We also have some folks from TEA. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if there's questions or anything, Tracy, you might want to add that we haven't covered, at least just on the LMS or the student learning modules, feel free to let us know. And I can also unmute folks. Yes, a lot of the service centers also use Canvas. Local community colleges use Canvas. Any workaround for community-based organizations? We're actually going to get to that in just a minute. So we do have an idea there. Great. So.
Okay, so thank you guys for answering that. That's really good information and feedback for us to hear and see. I'm going to quickly go into what does the student module look like? What do the students see? This will be primarily Canvas view, but if you upload the Common Cartridge to your LMS, it might look slightly different, but all the functionalities will be there. But I just wanted to show you quickly what students will see if you have an LMS system. And then we heard you guys, we are working on a workaround that I want to preview and demo for you guys today, as Laura said. So go to the next slide. So here's a student view of the sections within the first module. The modules are short and full of interactives that allow students to engage with the information. It's set up very similarly to the Texas OnCourse Academy modules, with a formative assessment in the form of a pretest, content, and then ends with a unit knowledge check. Let me highlight those here for you. So pretest, the content is in the middle, and then there's a knowledge check. And we've added in engagement pieces for the students that I'll show for you in the next few slides. Things like this conversation starter here. So here's the view of one of the interactives. This is the flashcard type interactive, where students can turn over the card and view the definition, explanation of the value, Students can also toggle within this one page to another interactive. So if they've done that, then here, this interactive is an accordion. Students will select, in this particular one, a career type that they're interested in reading more about. It breaks down the information so it's not so overwhelming on the page. Students can pick and choose specifically what they want to read about. And if they chose construction rigor, in that section, it will expand and show education, credentials needed, salary in a related endorsement area, plus where they can find more information. This makes the information more interactive, selective, and has options for all the students. A way that we've created engagement beyond the screen is by providing conversation starting prompts. There are 3 sections. 2 of them aren't pictured here. This is the student view, so they would scroll down. That has prompts for students to consider and discuss relating to whatever the topic of that module is with their teachers and counselors, peers, and parents and guardians. So it's divided into those 3 sections. At the end of each module, we also have a summary section where students can, in Canvas, they can journal their thoughts of what they've learned. This is another layer of formative assessment along with the pretest and the knowledge checks that are built in. So students are really solidifying the knowledge that they're gaining. So we've spoken a lot about a web-based alternative. We've heard you guys say it's not working with Google Classroom or alternative versions, and we are working on developing a web-based version of this student course. It will have almost all of the functionality as the Common Cartridge provided in one link per module. Students will click on the link that will be posted on our site. It's not posted yet, but it will be. And just to note, this is not ready for public access yet, but today we wanted to preview it for you. So please feel free to leave any feedback in the chat. Now, just bear with me a minute. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can share the right thing now. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, so this is a preview. So students will click on the link you can see up here. This would be the link that would be posted on our website. And we're previewing just one of the units, but this will be built out to be an entire module in one link. And remember, there are 5 modules for the whole course, so 5 links total. Students can toggle through the information. We still have the interactives available that they can read and find out more information about.
Perfect. I'm just going to jump in while folks are, while we can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
We are working on developing this web-based courses, and the goal is for these to be ready by the beginning of the 22-23 school year.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so if you are on our listservs and you get like the Texas On-Course playbook and you get regular emails from us, you want to continue opening those emails, because we will definitely provide an announcement when this resource is ready, because it's really exciting stuff. I think it's a fantastic resource. I wish when I was in high schools that we had access to just these pretty quick, honestly. They seem like they're pretty fast to go through, but it's got really fantastic information for your students to prep for post-secondary success.
Yes, I'm going through it at the preview pace, but the hope is that your students will get a lot of information. They can take notes, put in their thoughts in the summaries. And I'm not very familiar with the tech behind this, but it says it can create a document. We do have our instructional designer on here, Travis, who could probably explain this better, but they click that. I don't want to click it right now because I don't know what will happen next. That's the summary. Then they get to their knowledge check with the question set. So they can check. Yay, I got it. Check. Gives them a little information, a little bit more information, or they can to retry or show the solution. Check it. Yay. And they're finished. Tells them their scores. They can show the solutions. And they get their data at the end of it. So this is the web-based version. This does not need to be downloaded or uploaded to an LMS. Again, we are developing it, hoping to get it out. If you just keep a lookout in your emails for this to be ready for you guys. But please let us know any feedback y'all have about that. Let me pull back up the PowerPoint. Let's see where I ended up.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that for those of you who are on this webinar, you are thinking about a lot of ways to share this with your students. We've been, since Texas OnCourse has been around, educators have been asking for student modules. So these 5 are here. They're really, really relevant to your students in high school preparing for financial aid, college applications. So there's a lot of different ways that you can implement these. I would use them as like prep, to be honest. If you have advisory content and your students have devices, these are really good resource. Before or during or just after junior, senior class events, your parent nights, you want your students to be knowledgeable. Maybe you want your students to present on some of this information. That would be a great, I think that's an amazing idea, just to have sometimes students share this information as opposed to adults, or using them as assignments. You could certainly work these into requirements for seniors. Some of you have seminar courses, some of you have, of course, advisory. And if you're lucky enough to have AVID classrooms or the AVID program or Gear Up funds, your CTE pathways and your CTE teachers may be interested in using these in their programs as well. And any folks that are involved in your financial aid application process and meeting your graduation requirements and meeting those opt-out forms, it may feel like a little late to do it this year, but you could certainly work this into your plans for next year. So your students have access to that information on financial aid requirements before graduation. So lots of ideas for student modules. We know this is a really, really, really new resource, and most of you on our webinar today haven't used it yet. So we definitely want to follow up to see if those things are valuable. And we would like to definitely just open it up for questions or comments. Go ahead, Amy. Hi, Jamie.
Sorry. I was going to say, yeah, if you here's some ideas of helpful things to share in the chat on a scale of 1 to 5. How helpful would this web-based version be to you guys? If you could let us know that. 1, not helpful. 5, incredibly helpful. We want it tomorrow. Or for those of you who are able to download the student modules, is there anything that you wish we would have included? Any topics that are important or features that you would like to see? yeah, those are some ways to share feedback that can help us.
Yes, this is great. And I'm looking at the chat and I see all fives. Everyone wants
Okay.
this tomorrow. So we have folks on our content team that are here working on it. We will work diligently to get this done as soon as possible. There is a question in the chat. Do you know about the accessibility functions? I do not, but that is something we can find.
Yes, if Travis is on, maybe if you can unmute him, he is our instructional designer.
Yes.
He could talk about the accessibility of the, did they say is the accessibility of the student modules the common cartridge or the web-based version? Because that's still being worked on.
Nope. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Travis.
So, yes, it should be accessible. We got to go through and make sure all the alt text is in the images, but that's really the only thing I think that we need to make sure of at this point.
Mhm.
H5P is accessible. Canvas is, it's fairly accessible. There shouldn't be any major issues. You can run accessibility check in Canvas, and then H5P has its own stuff to do.
Yes, that's the web-based version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Travis. Any other questions? We're going to look, make sure. I see lots of excitement about the web-based version, so that sounds fantastic. I don't see any questions in the Q&A box. As we mentioned, we will send out the recording for everyone. And also, I think just make sure we let our districts know across Texas that these are available. I think it's a really great tool to use for students as we roll into next school year. And so we will plan to let everyone know as much as possible through our work with TEA, College Forward, College Bridge, and our partnerships. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Jamie, for sharing all the great information on the student modules. I see lots of fives. Yes, we're working on that web-based version. And then if there are no other questions or comments, this last slide is just to thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of interest in these. So, and stay tuned for our June webinar, and we will send that information out to you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.